Hey guys, it is July the 10th, 2025, and I hope everybody's been having a wonderful day so far today. This is like take number 31. I'm not kidding. Today's video just does not want to work out for me. I keep getting interrupted. This afternoon, I was planning on filming this afternoon. It's almost 6 o'clock right now. I was planning on filming this afternoon, and then it started storming really, really bad. It stormed for like 4 hours. We had some super bad lightning and thunder, and the rain was just coming in sideways. We lost power for a little bit, and then it just stopped. As fast as the storm came in, the storm left. But like I said, I was interrupted by the storm. There's just been so much stuff going on this afternoon, and I was on the phone this afternoon as well talking with somebody, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, because in that conversation that I was having, something got brought up, and I just thought it was so important to talk about today, because it's something that I've used in the past that has helped me out tremendously. And what that is it's a movie. And I just want to go ahead and preface this and just say that this movie can be really triggering. So, you know, be careful if you do think that you might want to go back and watch this, because there's a lot of drinking going on in this movie. You know, and if that's something that triggers you, do not go back and watch it. But, you know, if you think that you can handle it, it's something that you maybe might have seen before. You know, I think a lot of people have probably seen this movie, but like I said, I was on the phone this afternoon having a conversation with somebody. We were talking about drinking and all that kind of stuff, and this movie got brought up, and I thought, you know what, I really need to talk about this today, because there's got to be somebody out there who's never seen it and, you know, probably needs to know about it. And what that movie is Leaving Las Vegas. Once again, this is a very triggering movie. If you know, drinking, watching people drink is something that triggers you, please don't watch this movie, because you are going to get triggered really, really quick. But if you think that you can handle it, and like I said, it's something that you've seen before, you know, I would highly recommend that you go and watch this movie, especially if you have been thinking about drinking lately. Because that movie, my gosh, that movie right there, you know, it's one of those films that you just kind of leave after you watch it feeling just a little bit disturbed. Not saying that's a good thing, but at the same time, it's one of those movies to where you watch it and you go, I don't even want to even think about alcohol, or maybe even using or something. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, even if it's, you know, it's basically all alcohol in the movie, it could be any substance. You know, just watching the behaviors of Nicolas Cage in that movie and what happens with him, the things that he goes through. I don't want to spoil the movie for anybody who's never seen it before. But, you know, once again, if you have never seen that movie and, you know, the thought of alcohol has been on your mind a lot lately and you keep going back and forth, should you go back and have a drink? You know, especially, you know, you've been 30 days sober or 6 months sober or whatever it is, and those thoughts keep coming around. And, you know, as we're getting close to the weekend right now, you know, these are the times especially that we start playing around with that idea. You know, maybe I can have 1 or 2 drinks this Friday. Maybe I can have just a 6-pack on Saturday night when I go over to my brother's house, or I go over to my friend's house, or whatever it is. You get invited, one of your work buddies invites you over to their house to play poker on Saturday night or something, and you're toying with the idea, you know, maybe I can just have a couple of beers. I think I might have it licked this time, you know. I think I might be able to control it. I've gone this far without drinking. You know, what's a couple of beers? And you know, especially if you are like a liquor drinker and you're telling yourself, well, I'm just going to drink beer. I'm not going to drink liquor. You know, the beers, you know, it's not even that big of a deal. I never even really got that intoxicated off of beer back in the past. And I'm not drinking my liquor, so I'm okay to go back and have just a couple of beers. If those kinds of thoughts are entering your mind right now, that movie is one of those movies that'll really make you think twice about doing that. Like I said, it's one of those movies where you're not going to leave it, especially if you watch the movie all the way through. You're not going to leave that movie feeling warm and fuzzy, not by any means. So I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea about this movie recommendation, because it's not a feel-good movie, but it's a real movie. As a matter of fact, the guy who wrote that movie had AUD as well. And he actually lost his life after that movie was done. And they say that they think that the author of that movie was kind of writing that story about himself. It was kind of like a biography about himself. But like I said, that movie is it's kind of disturbing, but it's also very eye-opening. And for any of you guys as well, you know, if you're watching this channel and you don't have a problem with alcohol or substance or anything like that, but you know, you have a loved one, you know, you're here because you've got a brother or a sister or a husband or a wife, a mom, a dad, a really good friend, a coworker, something like that, and you're watching this channel trying to get an understanding of you know, why we do what we do, you know, why we drink the way that we drink, and why we put ourselves through the things that we put ourselves through. I think that movie can really give you a good idea of why we do the things that we do. And with that said, I know today's video is a little bit shorter than my normal ones are, but you know, I just don't have a whole lot to say about this movie other than, you know, like I said, I think it's a good movie to go back and watch, especially if you've been, you know, toying around with the idea of going back and having a drink, because that one drink is going to lead to 100 drinks. You know, we just can't ever go back and have just one. It never works out that way. You know, you might be able to get, you know, if you go back and have a drink, let's say you tell yourself, I'm going to just go back and have a couple of beers this Friday or Saturday night or something, and I'm only going to drink beer, and that's it. Well, you know what, day one, you might actually be able to have just one or two, or a glass of wine, or one cocktail or something. You might be able to do it. Next thing you know, you're patting yourself on the back and telling yourself, I did a great job. I did it this time. I've got it. I finally figured this out. I've got control of it. And then day two, you know, you go back and you have just one or two, and you tell yourself, there, look at me, I'm doing it now. I really am. I've got control of this. Day three, maybe you're able to do it again. But at some point, it's going to spiral out of control. That one drink, those two drinks, you're going to want to feel a little bit more of a buzz. You know, slowly but surely, that tolerance starts to build back up, because day one, you might catch a super nice buzz off of one or two beers or a glass of wine. And you tell yourself, I'm good with that. But then, you know, day three, day four, that one beer, that one glass of wine, it's not cutting it anymore. So now you need 2, 3. And before you know it, out of nowhere, you're waking up the next morning, you know, and you don't even remember what even happened the night before. You've had a total blackout. You've lost all track of time. You know, you can't find your wallet. You can't find your phone. You don't even know what even happened the night before. You wake up in some odd place. You know, it's just not a good scenario to go through. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because, you know, once again, this movie can be very triggering, so please be careful going and watching this. Maybe check out, you know, the trailer for this movie before you go and watch it, if you have never seen it before, because I think the trailer will pretty much tell you all you need to know if you go and watch it. And I'm just gonna say once again that this movie could be very triggering. If just watching people drink is something that might make you want to drink, don't watch it. But if you think that you might be able to handle it, and you know, like I said, those thoughts have been like really weighing you down a lot lately, maybe check that movie out, because I can almost guarantee you that if you watch that movie, you're gonna forget about that. You're not gonna want to go back and have that drink, because you do not want to end up like this person ends up in that movie. You just don't. And I've spoken about this so many times, but there's only 3 places that we end up if we continue to drink. And that's either in the grave, in the hospital, or in the jail. And that's it. It only leads to those 3 places. It might not happen overnight, but at some point it's going to end up there. And I can promise you that you do not want to end up in either 3 of those, or none of them. You do not want to end up there. So, like I said, I know today's video isn't the longest one in the world. I just don't have a whole lot of stuff to say about this movie without ruining it. But I do think that it could be a great deterrent. And it also could be something for those of you, like I said, that have a loved one that you're concerned about that's drinking too much or using or whatever it may be. I think this might give you a glimpse into the life of an addict, a glimpse into the life of someone with AUD. And, you know, it also can give you a glimpse into what can happen and where we can end up if we go back. At the end of the day, guys, let's stay sober today. It really, truly is one day at a time. And you know, like I said, I just for some reason felt like I really needed to come on here and discuss this movie today. I know there's somebody out there who has not seen it, and if you haven't seen it, like I said, if this has been weighing on you a lot lately and you keep playing with that idea of having a couple drinks this weekend, you think you've got it figured out this time, you've made it a year sober, and you think that you can go with your buddies and play some poker on Saturday night and just have a couple of beers and you're going to be okay, watch that movie. If you think you can watch it without being triggered. But I do think that that movie could be a great deterrent and might make you change your mind about having those couple of drinks this weekend. So anyway, like I said, guys, I just wanted to come on here and talk about that today. For those of you who have forgotten about this movie, maybe go check it out. Or for those of you who have never seen it. But once again, before I get off of here, please be careful if you're going to watch this movie. Like I said, maybe watch the trailer. But if you think you can handle it, I can almost guarantee you that after you watch that movie, you're not going to want to go back and have a drink after that. I can almost guarantee you that. So, guys, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And thank you so much for everyone that's here. You know, without you all, this channel wouldn't be what it is. And, you know, I can come on here and talk about this every single day. But without you guys being here, watching, liking the videos, commenting, helping get these videos out to more and more people, this channel wouldn't be what it is. So you guys are what makes the channel what it is. So thank you so much for all you guys do. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you so much for helping me to educate more people about this and the dangers of alcohol. And like I said, staying sober is the best way to go. Let's do this one day at a time. We can do it. And I know you can do it. I believe in you. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here for today. I love you guys so much. And until tomorrow, I will see y'all then. Please be careful if you're going to watch that movie one more time. Like I said, it's a very important movie, but it's also, it could be a very triggering movie. So just proceed with caution. But once again, I definitely think that if you watch that, if you're really toying with that idea, I think it's going to make you do a 180 and go the other direction. So with that said, I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.